Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and it looks like CNBC is telling everybody we're going into recession. Check it out.
So maybe they go from building houses and buildings.
Do you think a recession comes this year? Because even Larry Summers was kind of
you're going to have a recession third or fourth quarter. And the consumer's sort of out of dough. His savings rates are at all-time lows. 2.3%.
That would explain the 10-year.
He's on his credit cards, inventory is sky high. It's interesting. One thing about inflation, because we talked about the supply chain, it's not totally fixed. And so if you're building a building and you can't get the generator, you got everything else, it's no good, right? You got to get all the supplies. And I look at what we're doing, and we're opening a hotel in Hawaii in 2 weeks, and we can't get this, and we can't get that, and we can't open this. We'll open part of and it's all because the supply chain is broken still in places. It is getting fixed, but it takes time. So
supply chain, I don't think that's it. I think it's money printing for over a decade, acting like that's normal. It has to do with irresponsible politicians. We'll get to that here in a second, but check this out. So this came back up. James Flynn had put this back out about this investment banker declarant files a response to Ripple's opposition to the motion by investment banker to shield. He wants to shield his name. So this is basically, my understanding is that he's a guy that entered himself into the Ripple lawsuit in support of the SEC. Okay. And Yassine Mubarak says, so the investment banker works for a broker-dealer entity that is heavily regulated by the SEC. He admits he was not in a position to deny the SEC's request for support. Doesn't that put into question the objectivity of his day? In other words, almost like under threat, this guy steps forward and supports the SEC. They're in a position of power over him, and then he steps forward. But we would love to see what his name was, wouldn't you? I would. Now, look at this. It's almost like everything's going according to plan for the U.S. regulators and Wall Street. From Zero Hedge, and here we go. CBOE Global Markets wants to list more tokens on its crypto exchange as established firms from traditional finance seek to capitalize on demand for reliable counterparties following the collapse of FTX. So let's run through this in your mind here, folks. So Gary Gensler is having planning sessions with FTX, multiple, he and the CFTC. Then, when it collapses as a fraud, they all throw their hands up like they couldn't have known anything and then file suit against FTX because they are the regulators that go after people like that. And now, because of all the fear created in the market, now that is on all of crypto, not just FTX as a fraud. It's an indictment of all of crypto. And what do you do then? Oh, well, we should have had Wall Street should have been handling this. These crypto startups can't do this. Wall Street should be handling this. See how this works, folks? So I think things are going exactly according to plan. Or, as Gary Gensler said, who can do it better than JP Morgan or Goldman Sachs? Because that was the plan all along. Watch this. Remember this?
Jamie Dimon. So let's bring it back to Jamie and JP Morgan. What do you think is going to be the thing that they will have to change the most or lose market share and somebody else is going to do better, faster, serve their clients better?
All right, then JP Morgan and Goldman Sachs, you know the drill. There's also this. This is another thing that people aren't thinking about. You think it's a coincidence that all these random lawsuits have been filed against people like Ripple and some of these others? Really, Ripple. This is Nancy Wotas, who, in my opinion, was one of the few good guys in the whole ETHgate scandal that was involved. And I think she had completely good intentions in the thing. I wish we could talk to her. Listen to what she says. She's referencing one of the lawsuits back in 2018 against Ripple. This was all by design, folks.
To me, the biggest threat to this industry is third-party plaintiffs.
The Ripple case is something that, you really have to watch. I mean, the lead plaintiff in that bought $2,000 worth of the tokens, held it for 10 days, and had a $200 loss. And he's the lead plaintiff on a multi-billion-dollar class action. And if that case is successful, I mean, it is the death knell to many, many token companies.
Okay. Now, Brad Garlinghouse, I think I missed this tweet, but I just wanted to show it to you. When he came back from Davos, he said his take on Davos. I honestly think it's healthy seeing the change in how crypto showed up this year. Folks are focusing on utility and how these technologies solve real problems. The only way the industry will move forward, great to catch up. Now, what this reminds me of, folks, and I don't think there's any better example, from the .com boom and bust. You had a boom, and you had probably 95% of the boom was, companies without business plans, or Mickey Mouse companies like Pets.com, where there's no business, just a .com on the end of it. That's what I compare what we just went through with all this cartoon monkey stuff and all. Here's the greatest example. This is Paris Hilton when she's on not Jimmy Kimmel. I don't even remember the guy's name. This was exactly 1 year ago.
Yeah, I jumped in.
I know, I heard. I'm so happy I taught you what they were.
You did. You taught me what's up, and then I bought an ape.
I got an ape too, because I saw you on the show with Beeple, and you said you got a MoonPay, so I went and I copied you and did the same thing.
You did?
Mm-hmm.
This is your
mine.
ape.
Yeah,
we debuted.
It's really cool. Like the hat, the shape.
Let me tell you what, folks. Maybe it's because I'm old enough to have gone through the .com, but when I was seeing all this going on, I promise you this, I was pointing at it going, that's pets.com. I can see it a mile away. That's what happens when you, when you get burned coming up, you learn things the hard way. And luckily, that was a good learning experience for me. But what Brad Garlinghouse is saying right here, folks, I honestly think it's a healthy, seeing the change in crypto showed up this year. Folks are focusing on utility and how these technologies solve real world problems. And when I hear that, I think, yeah, not stupid monkey. Now, that's not to say that NFTs cannot be a legitimate thing. You tokenize some real world art or artwork or antiques or actual things with value, I'm in. But I'm not buying a cartoon ape. What I do have is Ripple private equity. This is why on the Link2 platform, Ripple equity, some of these things, no, these are not tokenized equities or anything. This is private equity. But Link2 has Ripple equity available still. I think they ran out recently and then stocked back up. This is one of my sponsors. The link's in the top of the description. Go check it out. This is real. This is not cartoon monkeys. I promise you. All right. Now I love this. I saw this earlier, I think yesterday. This is he needs complete credit here. Thomas Massey, representative, is that Kentucky that he's from? He has a wearable running national debt clock at the votes. What they should do is require all members to wear that debt clock that shows how much debt this country's in. And then before they vote on any bill, they should be required to say, we are about to spend this amount of money that we don't have. That should be at the beginning of every single bill. And this guy's over the target too. This is from a Robin Williams quote, I guess. Politicians should wear sponsor jackets like NASCAR drivers. Then we know who owns them. We should also have our regulators wear jackets of the companies that they're meeting with to try to create policy while they block out all of the rest of the industry, the way Gary Gensler did with FTX and the way the SEC and the CFTC did with Consensus and Joseph Lubin and all of them involved in ETHgate. That they should have been wearing an A16Z or a Union Square Venture or a Consensus jacket. That's what Jay Clayton should have been wearing, or Bill Hinman. Anthony Welfare from Ripple. What is the digital pound, GBP, really useful for? Ripple VP, Central Bank Engagement, James Wallace will cover some of the use cases for CBDCs and a digital pound at 4 p.m. This is a like a webinar, and you can register for it. Go to @AnthonyWelfare. Now check this out. This video was going around yesterday. Now, I don't know if this thing's got music copyrighted stuff here, but we'll try it anyway. I'll cut it out if it won't play.
Getting into this stablecoin introduction, that was for the DEA, and Ripple is working with them. That is 100% fact. They outlined this.
Right,
this is very...
I can't, you're just going to have to go watch this because there's music playing over this thing, and I don't want this thing to get copyright. It's @24 hours crypto 1. You can go and see that. Now, there continues to be drama over Flare. Oz Crypto, he had apparently uncovered a lot of the people involved that had gone and dumped their Flare ahead of the Flare drop on BitTrue. And now we have this. By implication, out of the total vote of this, a total of this are in support, while those against equal this at press time, only at press time. This has raised eyebrows in the XRP community. So now everybody's questioning whether these guys are controlling the vote, and that this is now, and I haven't looked into any of this stuff. I'm just telling you what's going on right now. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, tell your friends and family that there's a lot of drama in the whole Flare XRP community right now with all that.